Get ready to enter the most challenging world of this time adventure, my fellow ice cubes, because we are moving to the Dark Ages. A world of dangerous clowns and scary looking gorks is waiting for us. It is the 7th world of our time adventure and yet another hope to find Dave's Taco. Today we will deal with the medieval zombies without receiving any suns falling from the sky. Without further ado, let's dive deep into the dark epoch. Whoa there! Who dimmed the lights? No one, user Dave. We have simply arrived in the Dark Ages. Sounds gloomy to me. Sounds dangerous to me. Indeed, according to my research, a plague has swept this era. Also, the sun no longer falls from the sky. And that's a huge trouble for us. You can't even imagine the scale of it. So, the only possible way for us to gather the sun is to destroy the tombstones with the help of the peppermint. That's how I got 675 suns at the beginning of day 1. You might think it's a lot and I'm just making my gameplay much easier than it could be, however, it was everything I had for the rest of the level. If you think that I rationally spanned them, of course not. Because I wanted to plant some fire peas and got this terrible situation when the only way to defeat the zombies was to use the peppermint. While the zombie horde was cleared, meaning the level was successfully completed. Day 2, I don't make a joke out of you. On this night, I fully realized that the only possible way to beat this world is to combine the meteor flower with peppermint to defeat the zombies and gather some suns to plant at least a few artillery machines. This time we had a total of 875 suns, but remember that the hardness has increased even faster than the amount of available suns. We had to deal with dozens of bucket heads and cone heads, and that's not the easiest task with only a few meteor flowers. However, the level was completed without losing all the lone movers. Day 3 is going to be the best description of the Dark Ages, as this time I had only 75 suns to spend. And yeah, that's not a joke. You may ask me how I spent so much sun on such an easy level, and I will tell you that I defeated a single buckethead zombie, which the peppermints previously damaged. Now you probably understand the catastrophe of my situation. Remember that a single peppermint is not even enough to defeat the buckethead, so the only way to deal with such zombies is to get the second peppermint with the help of the plant food. And remember, that's only the 3rd level of the Dark Ages. Day 4 was a pretty funny conveyor belt level on which I spawned lots of gargantuars to make them work on me. Honestly, it's one of my favorite conveyor belt levels in the game, as it includes some of my favorite plants and the level space is chill enough to enjoy everything that is currently happening on the lawn. 14 flopas out of 10. Day 5 was the first time we saw the Jester zombie, which isn't a significant threat for us, as our plants can easily deal with such a clown. As usual, I choose the meteor flower to defeat the zombies, as it is the only possible way to get them at any corner of the lawn. Of course, except for a peppermint. Right before the final wave, I received an opportunity to plant the second flower, which made my gameplay much easier, as this was a 100% increase in number of plants placed on my lawn. Day 6 was the first last stand level for which I prepared a unique strategy. This time I wanted to try something new, so I combined Inferno with Hot Date and Wasabi Whip. Even if some enemies manage to get close to my fire machine, the Wasabi Whip will easily cook them all with the hot wisps before they even understand that the sweet flavor of the Hot Date was a giant trap. Unfortunately, Day 7 is an impossible one, as the amount of plant foods doesn't allow me to deal with the night zombie, which is tougher than the buckethead and requires 3 peppermints instead of 2 to be defeated. Additionally, we didn't receive any suns during the level, meaning that the chances of beating it with only peppermint are decreasing to 0. However, if we plant a full column of sun shrooms and take some tough bodies like pepper pult, fire pea and wasabi whip, then the levels is possible with only fire plants and a few sun producers. On day 8, we had to survive the zombie attack with the given plants, so there's a good chance to tell you something interesting about the Dark Ages. And did you know that the life expectancy during this time period was only 30 to 40 years, which is insane low. According to this time period, some of you have already lived 30 or even 40% of your life. In my case, it's already over 50%, as I am 22. Thanks to the advancements in medicine, science and food abundance, we can now live up to 80 or even 90 years, which is great, as you can do even more things during this time, like watching my videos. Day 9 contained lots of fuel potions and at the same time lots of tombstones with suns. This allowed me to prepare a strong defense line and save enough suns for critical situations, such as placing jalapeno to defeat the night zombie. I was surprised by the fact that this level is much easier than the few nights we faced before. Well done, Meteor Flower! Day 10 was a conveyor belt level and the midpoint of the Dark Ages, so there's a good chance to express some of my feelings about this world. Comparing with the far future, which was developed right before the Dark Ages, we see a significant decrease in the quality and creativity of the world, as it lacks unique plans and mechanics. I love the idea of Jester, Wizard and the King Zombie, but I still feel that this world lacks something. Maybe because most of the plans are copies from PVZ1, or there are not enough minigames to make it more enjoyable to play. After all, I can't say that this is a bad world, more like a mid one. Another day, another experiment. Day 11 began with planting a few wasabi whips, which turned into a huge catastrophe because of the wizard zombie, and later led to failing the level. However, on my second attempt, I used Inferno as my main weapon against all kinds of zombies, which resulted in a massive success, as this fire plant is capable of dealing with all kinds of zombies, no matter how fast or well defended they are. I guess he's going to become really needed in the following levels. You won't believe me, but I failed day 12 right before successfully finishing it. I needed a few more seconds to play the death animation and go to the next one, but one of the puff shrooms decided to disappear right before it. On the next few attempts, I accidentally forgot to feed my puff shrooms, which also led to failing it once again. However, everything went fine on my first attempt, and I managed to beat the level like nothing had happened before it. A rock with a sword. Wait, is that a Minecraft? Why would anyone go and stick a nice word into a dirty rock? I understand it to be a test, user Dave. Only someone with great physical strengths and strengths of characters may pull it. I bet someone with a jackhammer could remove it. A crazy someone. I'm sure you're not talking about yourself, Crazy Dave. And an elegant but no doubt effective solution to the problem, user Dave. Day 13 was dedicated to my boy Peanut. Someone might call it weak, but two heads are always better than one. The level wasn't so hard, but the right placement of all the plants and fungi played a key role in beating it. On day 14 we had to gather 5000 suns, and it's impossible to do that by only breaking the tombstones, so I had to use the sun bean to collect the needed amount of sun. Well, at least I finally had an opportunity to play with some other fire plants, except for Meteor Flower and Inferno. I was honestly surprised by the efficiency of Pepperpult and Fire Pea, as I thought they would be much weaker in such a harsh reality of the Dark Ages. Day 15 was yet another less stand level, for which I decided to use Jack-o'-lantern and Pyrewine, as they fit perfectly with the local atmosphere. You shouldn't underestimate their fire abilities, as both of them were frying zombies like a real barbecue for the entire level. The only big danger for them was of course the wizard zombie, which turned pumpkins into sheep. A plant-animal transformation, that's what we need. Anyway, the level was successfully completed and none of the pumpkins were eaten by zombies. Honestly, I thought that day 16 would repeat the fate of day 7 and become the second unbeatable level of the Dark Ages. However, it didn't, but let's start right from the beginning. The first lone movers were lost right after the first wave, and the number of Knight and King zombies was only increasing. However, the Sun Graves became a last hope for beating it. So I fried the entire lane with the jalapeno, which was my first success on this level. Then I destroyed all the king zombies and planted a lava guava boosted by peppermint. fried the upper zombie with a jalapeno, and stopped the last one with another lava guava. I was so proud of myself after beating it. On day 17, I had enough suns to build a proper defense, as the level provided such an opportunity to stop the zombies boosted by evil potions. After the first wave, I already had a full line of Infernos and a few meteor flowers, meaning that the chance to lose this level has rapidly decreased to 0. Like I said, everything went so well that even the local Garg wasn't able to enter the lone. On day 18, we had to survive the zombie attack with the given plans, so let's just say that buttering the zombies was the best minigame you could ever think of. Surprisingly, day 19 was an easy one, as all the hard zombies attacked me from lanes free of the magnet rooms. At one point I was really close to failure, but their good reaction and the jalapeno pepper saved me from failing it. Bringing all the zombies to one lane with the help of the hot date is actually a great idea, especially in case of a severe sun deficit. Only the Gargs from the final wave managed to get to my lone movers, but that didn't stop us from beating the level. Hey Penny, what is plant food made of? I fear the true nature of plant food requires further analysis, user Dave. Excuse me while I run some tests. So day 20 didn't contain any fairy plants, meaning it was just a usual battle with Dr. Zomboss that lasted only 3 minutes. I have found no evidence that plant food contains zombie or zombies. Phew, plants shouldn't eat zombies who eat plants. Except Chomper, he has to. Dude needs the fiber. Put a like on this video to support my little Chompy. Anyway, the key is mine, which means that we are moving to the Neon Mixtape Tour. Another 32 levels are waiting for us, but this time with lots of great music and the vibe of the 1980s.